Let's look at this. It's a analytical geometry. You have to solve this equation. So these questions, here we are dealing with a gradient. How to calculate gradient of a slope. A gradient is a slope. It's a slope of a straight line equation. So to calculate a gradient of this, they said calculate the gradient of this point. So we are given this point and then you have to calculate the gradient. Using this equation, you will start by saying m so you have this point, these 2 points, so x pegs to y. This is x, this is y, x, y. So when you solve this one, where this, you can choose anyone to be your 1 or your 2. Okay, let's say this one our 2, this our 1, so y2 it's 4 minus into minus 2 over 2 minus into minus 4. So subtracting the, adding the multiplying this one will be positive. Multiplying this one, it will be positive. So the sum of the two is 6. The bottom is 6 as well. So the gradient is 1. Let's look at the next question. So the equation the gradient are different. There's a negative gradient, there's a positive gradient. So let's check this one whether it's x pegs to y. So substituting, these are our 2's, these are our 1's. So starting with the 2's, we have minus 6 minus this is 4. Y is 4. And then minus is positive 3. Minus 6 minus 2, it's minus 8. It's 1. so the negative will cancel. We have 1 over 8 as a gradient. Let's check the next one. So here they say calculate the gradient of the straight line. So a gradient of a straight line at the flat, in a flat flat this one, like a straight line like this one. The gradient, remember, it's a slope. A slope, something that have an inclination, like something like this or like this. Something like this. The gradient, there's no gradient. There is the gradient here. It's 0 if it's straight. So the gradient for here is 0. Why? Because this is a straight line. Let's take a point here. Let's say that here is 2 and here it's 2 as well, and then let's take a point here. Let's call this A, and then there's -2, this is -2 and 3, and then what is the point here? It's let's say it's 3. Then let's use this point to find the gradient, to show that the gradient of a flat slope is 0. And there's no y2. Let's take this one as our 2's, this is our 1's. So y2 is 3, y1 is also 3, and then x2 is -3. It's vertical. And then let's calculate it. 3 minus 3 is 0. The bottom part is 5. So 0 divided by 5 is 0. So you see that a gradient of a flat line like this is 0. So you have to be aware. Question like this. Let's check the next one. So yeah, if you are given something like this, they said find the gradient, and we are not sure which point, because we are given 5 here is 7. It didn't mention any other number. So the point here, it's x is 0, y is 5. If it's like this, even here, if they give you a point like this, and here what is called x is 7, y is 0, so you can call this your 2, your 1, your y1, x1. So okay, y2 here it's 5, y1 it's 7, x2 is 0. X2 is 0, y2 is 0, and then x2 is 7. So you have something like this. This is the answer. for the gradient. And then we have the same thing here. This shows that it's a negative gradient. This one's it's a negative because we find it's negative gradient, negative slope. Let's check this one. This one, the point here, x is 0, y is 6. Here x is negative and y is 0. So you're finding the gradient here, you'll have something like so let's call this our 2 or 1s, y1, x1, x1, y1, x2, y2, x1, y1. So y2 it's 6, y2 is 6, y1 is 0, x2 is 0, y1 is negative 9. So this multiply by it will be 9, positive 9. So the ratio here, 3 goes 2 here, here goes 3 times, so you'll have something like 2 over 3, and it's positive. That means this it's a positive gradient, the other one it's a negative gradient, a negative slope. So let's check this one. Here we're given 1 point. Where is the other point? We are not given the other point. So if you come across something like this, you see here it crosses where? At the origin. And the origin, we know that the origin is what? 0 and 0. So the point here they don't give you. They will just give you this one if you come across a question like this. So you must know that when it crosses here, the coordinate here it's 0, 0, 0. So we have something like this. So let's call this our 2, our 1s. y2 here, this is y5 minus, so this expects to y always. Even the bottom part there is 0, our 1s is 0, and then so the gradient is 5 over 3. So let's check it. This one. Here we're given 1 point and this one is not given, but you have to know that the origin is 0 and 0. So finding the gradient for this one, and then this is our 2, our 1s. So we have something like our 2 it's 8, y2 it's 8, y1 it's 0, -3, so this is 8 over -5. It's the gradient.